Welcome to Alpha Wolf Capital. I'm Tim, and I want to personally thank you for stopping by. This channel is designed to help small companies, both public and private, gain exposure with potential consumers, investors, even partners. Take, for example, today's guest, CEO Darin MYMAN from DATS Inc. DATS Inc. is a blockchain, cybersecurity, and social media company that not only focuses on protecting our privacy on our devices, but also protecting our information after we have shared it with others. They believe an individual's right to privacy should not end the moment that you hit send. Their platform allows users to exercise control over their messages and posts even after they're already sent. Through their application, users can delete messages that they send on their own device and the recipient's device as well. There is no set time limit within which must exercise this choice. You can do it at any time. It has a nuclear option where you can literally dissolve the entire chat like it never existed. And I'm going to let Darin tell you more about this in just a moment. This is not to be taken as investment advice. I am not a certified financial planner. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. I encourage everyone to do their own due diligence. Hey everybody, Tim from Alpha Wolf Capital coming at you with a brand new story that has had some incredible action lately. It's settled down a bit. The chart has settled down a bit. Fascinating story. I heard about it through a friend talking about the chat, the text product that they have, and that got me interested enough to want to have a sit down with Darin. Darin, is it MYMAN?
I pronounce it my man, Darin MYMAN.
Oh, that's so funny. The guy that brought me this, I kept saying, so, my man.
Makes life easier. Like the first 8 years of my life, I said MYMAN. Then we switched it to my man.
Yeah, I think that is an awesome name. I would have so much fun with that. But
I do have a lot of fun. People have fun with it too. Sometimes I have to show ID. They don't believe me when I make a dinner reservation.
Awesome, man. What nationality is MYMAN? What nationality is that?
I think it's Eastern European. You know, we've tried to track it down. There aren't many of us in the world, so it seems like Austria, Ukraine area, Eastern Europe. You know, it's the best we could do.
Very cool name. I love that name. I would have that on my license plate. I would have, you know what I mean? All right. So anyway, Darin, my man,
My man.
to talk about DATS, and we're going to start with that. First, thank you for coming in and doing this. I think this is going to be a fun one to keep an eye on, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what I'd like you to do, Darin, is give everybody a sense of your background, right, and how you got here, if you don't mind.
Sure. My background has been tech for the last 20 years. And along the way, I developed probably one of the first self-destructing email systems. And we had patents on that we sold to a very large patent holding company. And privacy has always been very important to me. How do we protect our information, especially as we saw the birth of Facebook and the Instagrams and everyone sharing everything. But how do you maintain control of your information after you hit send? And that led us to where we are today at DATS, where we developed a kind of a two-part strategy. One, secure messaging, but we do things that no one else did, where yes, it's private and encrypted, but you also can't screenshot anything. And we realize as we're building the messenger part, and you can make a whole conversation disappear with nuke, one of our features, or set something to last 5 seconds or permanently, but always have control. We realized we needed a social aspect, so we actually built a secure encrypted social network that you could get together with people you know and exchange ideas, and same thing, screenshot protected. If you try and screenshot anything on that chat, it comes in blank, self-destructs, and tells everyone you tried to screenshot it. Yeah, which is funny. People find that, yeah, the people that screenshot a lot get a little upset about that sometimes.
I'll bet.
Yeah, because it's like, oof, especially in the social groups, it's like Darin just screenshotted, my man just screenshotted everything. But what's cool, we have 15 different patents covering all aspects of, privacy and social networking. And one of them, I'd say about three of them really work for what we're doing now. We've kind of solved the problem. How do you make this big quick? How do you get chat's technology in a social platform different from any other? And that's where we came up with this new product called Myseum that solves two big problems, right? The two big problems are how do you share with the future? After 2009, we don't have boxes of pictures anymore, photo albums. And the other is how do we make it easier to share now? Because I'm tired of looking over people's shoulders at their phones at parties when they want to show me a picture. So that's how we wound up in Myseum. It's been a interesting journey. It's been exciting, and I think we're very well positioned for this year.
So I want to clarify a couple of things. When you say you can nuke a conversation, and I think this is an important distinction to make. I can nuke it off of my phone, but I also, when I nuke something, I nuke it off of their phone, and that's at any time, right?
Yes. Correct, without a trace. So if you hit nuke, anyone you're talking to, it just disappears.
Right.
And if you're in a social group and you hit nuke, all your conversation disappears, not necessarily the whole group. So anything they send you when you hit nuke in a private conversation, their phone just goes, it's cool to watch. It just dissolves, right? Anything they send you and you send them is just gone. There's no record of that conversation.
Right, which I think is so cool. And that's images too. I mean, anything that you sent them, that literally goes away.
Plus, even if you don't nuke it and they try and screenshot it, it just comes in as a black screen. They see nothing of the conversation, and it self-destructs as that you sent automatically.
And what's so funny is, so I downloaded that app and I was messing around with it. Of course, the first thing I notice is, well, no one in my contacts is in this thing. So how am I going to talk to them? I got to get them to sign up and come over for me to be able to talk to them in there, right?
Right.
Which I did, but then it made me realize that I thought you were going to have a challenge being able to populate that chat, right? I just didn't know if the features are cool. I wasn't sure if they were cool enough to get people to switch from what they are used to, right?
Well, it's kind of funny when we set that feature up of not having your contacts in there of everyone and seeing if they're in that chat. It's for privacy. It's kind of weird when you go into a WhatsApp, Snapchat, you see everyone using it. It's not really about privacy. So it was a decision we made that, yes, it would help us go more viral, but at the same time, it's not really privacy conscious, right? So if I know you're in it, I'm like, oh, okay, he's using this privacy app, but if I invite you, even by sending you a message, there's ways to do it. And it does work within the iOS app. We have an app for it too. It works within the iMessage. But it was really, we've been all about privacy and protecting your stuff. But then we realized this other thing, we need to be able to preserve our information securely as well. And that's what we think really is the catalyst to make that chat technology and our 15 patents very, very valuable.
And now I'm gonna play a little video here and talk, because that chat is being embedded into this product, which is pretty freaking cool, right?
Yeah, this product is built upon our privacy and technology, and all the patents we have it's incorporating all our features too.
All right, so I'm gonna hit play on this video and let everybody check it out.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Darin MYMAN, CEO of DATS. a public company that is a pioneer in both social media and private secure messaging. It was about 2 years ago, by means of both accident and opportunity, I discovered a tremendous and important problem that most of us have, but like myself, had not really realized yet. Most exciting of all, it was a problem that we knew how to solve using our patented technology. The big eureka moment came about in a very, very unusual way. It all started with the passing of my mother-in-law. My daughter was helping to put together one of those picture boards of her life using old photos that everyone in the family was sending her. It was truly heartwarming to see her life laid out in photos for all to see. Then that Thanksgiving, as we were passing around a bunch of old photos that were found in a shoebox, it occurred to me that there were no pictures after the year 2009. No new albums or shoeboxes or gym bags. Do you know what happened in 2009? I got my first iPhone. Now, we all have more pictures and videos than ever before, but they're locked away on our phones. How many pictures have you printed in the last 15 years? If something were to happen to me tomorrow, the photos that would be on the picture board of my life are locked away behind a passcode. Even on social networks, only the people you're directly connected to could see your stuff. So now we have more pictures than ever before, but it's actually much harder to share them and pass them along. That was the big problem we had to solve. The solution was not simple for us, but will be easy and amazing for you. The solution was to make it easier to share your photos and videos both now and for generations to come. Our pictures are a legacy, and everyone deserves a legacy that lives on forever. And everyone should have their own museum. Today, I'm proud and excited to introduce to you Myseum. See, at first we thought of Myseum as a family tree, but that didn't work because of all the complex relationships we all have. The biggest problem we had to solve was how to connect everyone together so we can make it easier to share both now and forever. It's not a family tree, not a family circle, not a traditional social network. It's a galaxy, an ever-expanding galaxy, kind of the ultimate 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, a galaxy that you're the center of, surrounded by everyone you know and they know. Your legacy will live on forever. Myseum is not just for your family, although it's great for sharing and preserving all your photos, videos, family recipes, kids' schoolwork, etc., etc. Just imagine what you could do with it. It's also for your friends, coworkers, clubs, schools, sports teams, pretty much anything you can imagine that should be preserved and shared in their own infinite galaxies that are all connected to you. As a public company listed on the NASDAQ, we can't disclose all of the amazing features that are coming. But what I can tell you is that you'll be able to create amazing digital albums and collections of all your favorite photos and videos, even photos and videos from other Myseums in your galaxy. Personalize your newsfeed so that you never miss the things you want to see, and create special wings of your Myseum with limited, private, and secure access. Even leave time-release video messages for both now and for the future, and create a personal profile that tells the story of your life the way you want it told, and so much more. Myseum makes it easier and more fun to share both today and for generations to come. It is your forever digital shoebox that ensures your legacy will live on for future generations to enjoy. So today, I'm inviting you to become a founding member of Myseum. Just go to myseum.com and pre-register today to lock in your free Myseum for life and beyond. Start building your galaxy, preserve your memories, and ensure your story lives on for generations to come, because everyone deserves their own Myseum.
Very cool. Very cool. We started talking when I saw this. Immediately, I said, "Okay, now I see that." To me, is very sticky, right?
Yeah.
A very unique proposition from what is currently out there with the Snapchats and the WhatsApps and the. It's very, very different. Can you maybe elaborate on what makes you so unique?
So what makes it very unique is, when you look at a company like Facebook, it's really just you to whoever you're connected to directly. It's one dimensional. The way this grows very quickly and without a huge marketing budget is if you connect your kids and then they have, spouses, and they get added on and their in-laws, it just grows exponentially. And at the same time, we've taken all the data chat technology, it's really digital rights management. on the technical side, and built this into this so you could decide who sees your stuff. And as you build your albums and galleries in your Myseum, it automatically passes on. It's there forever. We have patented technology using blockchain. We call it the micro blockchain, with each galaxy its own little private blockchain as it grows exponentially, that ensures that your information passes on to all future generations. Then you can do cool things like that you can't do now. Like, it's hard to share pictures now. You put a few things up on Facebook, but you're at a Christmas party or a holiday party, you try and show someone, you were just in Aruba, people are like hanging right next to you. They'll look over your shoulder. We'll be able to create instant rooms that everyone could share to, and either let it self-destruct at the end of the party, or preserve for everyone as a memory from that party and take pictures into it. We're doing something, and we're solving a problem most people don't know really exists. Like, truly, when about 2.5 years ago, to when my mother-in-law passed, I didn't really think of this as a problem until I realized, wow, I got tons of shoe boxes and literally gym bags full of pictures, and just piling up in albums. No one does that anymore. It was hard to get pictures, recent pictures. What happens to all these? No one has access to my phone. And there's like family circles, but they don't automatically pass it on. And at the same time, how do we create a social environment that if my wife's cousin, sister's, has another baby, that I know about it if I want to? And
Right.
what drives me crazy on Facebook, you really can't control your feed. It's all their algorithms. We're going to let you decide what you say. And then I attend, being a public company, a lot of events, with investment banks and parties and, conventions. And they take tons of pictures. I never see them. They have no place to put them. And can you imagine being able to see your college days, at least for kids now, that they'll be there for their kids, or to be able to send a video message into the future, or even now to everyone on everyone's birthday from your Myseum, and to create a profile that really tells your story. Facebook doesn't do that. What we're building is something for everyone to solve a problem that we all really have. And what do we do with our pictures? And this really solves that. It's cool, but the best part is the way it grows. It just, you tell two friends and they tell two friends, and so on and so on and so on. And it's not just family. Whether it's business, everyone I know that has younger kids, mine are all older now, in soccer, want to use it for soccer, for their team. So they're all connected and have those records forever of not just the pictures they take of their kids, but everybody connect. It's always there without having to store them on your phone.
Yeah, it's a fantastic thing. I mean, I told you when I first met you the other day when we sat down and talked about this, I said I like to find companies that have that are more of a need, not just a want. I also said that I felt as though social actually is more antisocial than it is social, right?
Yep.
And I think this has a component to it that actually brings the social back to social. If you follow my drift on that, right? I mean,
it's very important to have the social aspect, and that's what it does. It allows you really to share the things you want to share, not just look at me on Facebook.
Right. Which I think oftentimes is a competition, or look at my awesome life, and they're standing in front of somebody else's sports car, right? I mean,
yeah.
There's a lot of. I mean, your verse is very real. It's family embedded. I mean, it's not a show. This is my life. This is my. And then when you're gone, and the people that care about you, or I mean, what was the thing? It's a sad thing to admit about yourself, but when people pass, the bottom line is that the people that knew them, when they pass, nobody remembers you. You're gone. I mean, you're just gone, right? This right here, you're not gone. I mean, you can literally be remembered and talked about, and then talked about from the people that talked about you. It could, you know, you are become, like you said, a legacy, right? That is your legacy.
You have your own museum, just like you see, and we visit museums. This is your personal Myseum,
Right,
which tells your story, but also makes it easier to share, not just for future generations, with the current people.
right,
It's really a social network built around you, and everyone is the center of their own Myseum. You know, you could be in someone else's galaxy when you connect, but they're the center of theirs, and it grows. And that's what makes it more interesting to tell your story into the future. And you decide, using our digital rights management, who sees your stuff. Is it only family, friends, or do you want to be, certain albums to be seen forever by everybody? It's up to you.
right, right. It's really cool. I mean, when you try to wrap your head around this thing, it's like the possibilities are endless, right? I mean,
Mm,
if you're a dog person or a particular breed of dog person, right? Or if you're
yep.
a classic car person, or I mean, you can have all kinds of different rooms or things that and it's all kind of connected to you being the center of that universe.
We call them collections. And if you're visiting, your cousin's, museum and see some pictures of your mom there, you can just collect them and have that album in your museum. It allows true social nature of our media,
Right.
and but also privacy and control. Everything's encrypted, so no one can just come to your galaxy unless they're invited in by someone. But then, even within that, you decide who could see your stuff. Is it immediate family? Is it only family? And then all the other segments, like work organizations, they're segregated. That's like a separate galaxy within a galaxy. I know it gets a little weird when you start thinking of it that way, but it's segregated from your entire galaxy. You go and I want to see what's going on, with DATS employees, I could say.
And you have patent protection on this system.
Yeah.
You feel sufficient to not, because sometimes software you can, you make little changes, you can work around the patents, right?
Mm-hmm.
Feel comfortable that you've got a pretty solid moat.
Yeah, well, we're really comfortable with it, and our patents focus in two areas for the Myseum piece. One, the sharing into perpetuity using our what we call micro blockchain patents, but then also the sharing now in the digital rights management part of it. So we're pretty secure in our feeling for our patents, but more importantly, what really wins. It's great having patents. How do you get big fast? I don't have to spend $100 million on marketing. I don't have to spend $10 million on marketing. Next week, we're going out to probably the largest technology conference for genealogy in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
And we're introducing it's our first live beta to the public. The next 90 days in Myseum, we'll see a lot of cool stuff, as I mentioned in the video, coming onto, including things like totally secure rooms for just family if you want to put uh, family documents up there, adding the business side to it. Right now, it's for everyone, being really to micromanage your feed if you want. So they're expecting between 10 and 15,000 people at the conference and millions of people online, all focused on their genealogy and family trees. And I just want to say, as I said in the video, the hardest part of this was how do we show all the people and how in this relationship database, how they're related to you. And what we had to do is a family tree didn't work for us because people do have, wives and husbands and ex-wives and babies and mothers and baby mamas and baby daddies and in-laws. It doesn't represent right in a linear fashion of a family tree. It's very crowded. And it took quite a bit. And then we realized it really was just a galaxy that expands and connects. And I think it's going to be surprising who we see ourselves connected to in the future. Because it really is that, I always like that 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. I think this is all right. So let me ask you, how do you monetize? How do you make money?
Well, there's a couple ways. So everyone starts with a 50 gigs of storage, and it's not ever going to be a monthly fee, but we'll go have, except for businesses, we'll have incremental charges if you want to go to, let's say, a terabyte or a terabyte and a half, depending on how you want to use it. 50 gigs is a great museum for everyone. Then if you want to leave video messages for the future, there'll be a fee. There'll be advertising in your feed, or you can opt out of it. Very tasteful advertising, not over inundating people. You know, people don't realize that Facebook is amazing what they do. Yeah, a lot of these social networks generate 20, 30, sometimes even, depending on the country, $40 in the value of a customer and advertising revenue. And we think we could get big pretty quick through this because it's all viral.
Right.
And we're really excited about kicking it off and seeing the first galaxies next week.
So that's what I was, that was my next, where I was going next. So it's not, you can't download it right now.
Next week.
Next week.
Well, theoretically, iOS is available. I think I told you earlier, like Moldova somewhere, because we didn't want it downloaded yet till we make the last changes. So next Tuesday or Wednesday, it'll be available in the iOS store, and Android's in for approval. We think that'll be up to next week. So, and we're launching our website next week that explains it. There are videos on it. You can go to Myseum right now, see the video. But we're good to go. This is 2.5 years to build this, and we're very proud of what we've done, and it's designed to exponentially grow very quickly. And it's nice, you know, how we host it is we can handle unlimited traffic and growth because of using the cloud, which wouldn't have been available to us 15 years ago.
Okay, so I want to touch on something also that makes me comfortable with this story, and it's the fact that you actually have some capital markets experience.
Yes. So I started out as a floor trader. I've taken a couple companies public. We're well funded. We don't see any need to tap the capital markets now. And it's really exciting for us. You know, we're on NASDAQ, and the story tells itself. Now it's just getting people in. We're going to see, we think, value in our company come from its users and being able to grow. And we think we could grow quickly,
Right.
very quickly.
So we're going to go over the stock. I mean, I'm not, everybody knows that follows me. I wasn't a technical guy until, I was always a fundamental guy until I took a technical course like 17 years ago. And now it's the first thing I look at every time I look at a company, right?
Yeah.
You've had some interesting action, and I asked you about it, and you said you don't know why it did.
No. I woke up one morning, I had like 6 bankers calling me. They all wanted to raise me money. I said no. Stock went from like $1.65 or $1.80 to like 9 and change in one day.
You had no idea why.
Nothing to do with it. That NASDAQ called us. You know, it's like, you tell us, we don't know why.
You traded about 180 million shares that day?
Yeah, with 4.2 million out. With probably like 3.7 in the float.
I mean, that's how's that work?
I don't know. Well, I mentioned to you, there's a lot of algorithmic traders. I guess we've always had, I guess we've been lucky that, you know, people like the technology we're building. And I think we have a loyal following out there. I don't know what kicked it off, you know, a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
But even when we did our IPO, we got picked up, you know, traded up to 18.5, coming out with a unit at 498. You know, we've had, you know, stocks don't trade like they used to, though. It's funny. But what I do think is by having something of such substance coming, when we start putting up the right numbers, you know, we'll see a different type of investor coming in too, and not just the short-term momentum players.
Right. So what I think is fascinating is that it had that move. And actually, I'm going to move this out of the way for a second so that I can pull this up.
Yeah. No news. It just went.
It went big. I mean, this thing was on fire, right? Look at this. Is that so the volume was insane.
Yes.
right? But huge out of nowhere. I mean, you had no volume at all, and then all of a sudden, boom, out of
It
nowhere,
just went.
right? Uh, but what's interesting about the stock now, and I got to move this over so everybody can see it. Actually, I think I'm going to move your logo for a second so that I can get this. So what's really interesting is that, I mean, this is the spike. I mean, that is one hell of a spike, right? I mean,
Yep.
each candle represents one day, and on that day, it just decided it wanted to go. What's
Mhm.
interesting though is that you've now come back to this area right now that was acting as resistance and now is trying to act as support, right?
Right.
So as I look at this, I'm like, okay, this is, and if you notice, this they would call this a pennant flag, right? So you've got to have this big flagpole that the solid bar, and then you have the drawdown. But what's interesting is the drawdown is on very, 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 very light volume, right? So somebody's
Mhm.
keeping a good amount of shares, or it seems to me, right? So now you're getting this coiled up pattern that's starting to happen, right? You're getting this wedge that's essentially, and you're right on top of the resistance area, which now should be acting as the floor, and that's what
Right.
it's doing, right? So as I look at that and I say, okay, here's this floor that it's sitting on. The volume has kind of like dried up a little bit, but what we know is that your next week, where are you going to be?
We're going to be in Salt Lake City at the Roots Tech Conference.
Yeah,
And then the following week, we'll really start building the user base for Myseum.
right. Which you said how many there were 10, 15,000 people at the event, live event, but then they have an online. Well, I guess they send
Yes.
it out in recording to. I mean,
Then the video up in it, we have a virtual booth as well that stays up for some time. They expect millions of people. In the past, they've had 4 or 5 million people visit the virtual conference as well.
right. So that's a good little kickoff, right? The beta, or is it a beta, or is when it goes live, it's live. It's not a beta.
So I use our internal language. It's live. It's a commercially ready version for iOS and Android. I call it beta because over the next 90 days, all the features I wanted are coming in. This
Okay.
is, to me, it's a baseline. It's the beta. Where I want it is between now and 90 days, adding in the secure rooms, adding in the segregated feeds, adding the business, components, adding to increase your, storage capacity. Our goal now is just to get a lot of people and start populating the universe with all these galaxies that will grow hopefully exponentially because it's cool that it's a natural growth product, right? Yeah, it's easy. There's low barrier to entry. People can get their museum for free if they want to use the enhanced services in the future by connecting with some of the big genealogy companies that do take all your 23s and me's and ancestries, all the printing companies that will print your pictures on glass or create recipe books for the family. And then we'll introduce the subscription fees for businesses that will be charged by the storage they use and the organizations like soccer organizations and football teams. So everyone can participate in these. They'll be free for the user, but the organization will have a fee. And also the advertising in those, I guess, unique groups, the affinity groups, will bring high value advertisers in. So we're excited about that. We work very hard to pass from I guess, a development technology company to ready to generate revenues, end the second into the third quarter.
Right. So we started talking about revenues before we hopped on, just the multitude of places where you could potentially have a revenue,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, talked about the fact that my mom, for this couple that are very wealthy, they don't need anything. It's very difficult to buy them anything, but the gal, every time they go, they travel the world, and every time they go somewhere, they're sending my mom pictures of them what they're doing, right? And
Mhm.
my mom, for her birthday, took all of the pictures that they had sent from all over the world and put them around the outside of a blanket, right? And I mean, that was really meaningful to the people that have everything.
Yep.
You know, they don't. That was something that was very personal and special to her. So I mean, I start thinking about that. I think about what you've said, which is after 2009,
Mhm.
what happened to all the pictures that, I mean, it's, yeah, there's a bunch of them sitting there. What do you do with them? Right? I mean, they just sit there. I mean, this is
Yep.
a really great way to share with the people that you want to share with, right? But also building your legacy and showing who you are. I mean, this can really be something. You said at some point you're going to have, you can do a video or your voice, right?
Right.
Recordings for future dates. Is that what you said?
So we'll be able to take a voice sample from you,
Yeah.
and all your captions will be read in your voice in your Myseum. Using AI, it'll generate it, so it'll just read it in your voice for future generations or create a video from it. You go out, but also what's cool is that some of my developers on a side bet, they're a little weird. One wants to have a video message to go out on his deck. Well, his name's Jeff. He was say, well, if you're seeing this now, I'm no longer on the planet.
Right. I mean, it sounds funny, but it actually is
It's
pretty cool.
cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
I can see that.
so this is really the world social network creating your legacy, but no one's ever really gone past that first level, right? You
Right.
know, some influencer may have 5 million followers, which is them to them. Can you imagine if you have an influencer leverage those 5 million followers, people connected to them? How big does it get? And how quick?
Right. Right.
Or just we're going to be honest with you, we're going to Salt Lake City. There's some big families that do genealogy. Get the right ones, they just start connecting and grow the families. Because it's not just your family, it's your in-laws and their kids, and it's really it's a little mind-boggling to think about, but it's really cool how a galaxy could expand.
Right. I mean, I I've already signed up for the because I
Mhm.
really am interested in seeing how this thing, because I think people are going to find this to be a lot of fun. I think they're going to have a lot of fun, and I think that the
Mhm.
possibilities for it are just mind-boggling. I think that stores, or I think of Etsy, and I think of
Mhm.
Pinterest, and I think all these things that are kind of, they do have components of, but this is a whole nother level.
This is interesting in that I'm excited to see what I have a very unique name, my man. I'm interested to see where people connected to me are around the world because you'll be able to see that visually. There's a map. Besides the galaxy is a map. In the galaxy, if I was like, who's that? I could hit it and go visit, see that quick profile, decide if I want to join the museum. This is really, it's almost like a virtual family theme park or business, whatever you want to use it for. But it's not just stagnant where it's just like data being presented to you. It allows you to be interactive with it too. And you'll be able to see on the map, oh, I have friends in Europe. I have family in Europe. How are they related to me? And it all comes back to you. You'll see the connections.
Yeah.
It's really cool stuff. And within it is all the dad chat stuff that I love, providing you the privacy and security where you need it. You decide.
Right. And that's the other component we have to highlight here, is the fact that you are going to have that chat is going to be that is the chat within the universe, right?
Yes, that's the chat, but it's also the tools within some of the galleries. If you want to create a
Yeah.
private gallery or a private chat room, like a mini social network, it'll be the dad chat features where it can't be screenshot. You decide how long it lasts. At any point, you can make it disappear.
Right. Super cool. And I think this is gonna, I imagine, and you're probably imagining that too, that this will continue to grow. I would think new features or
Oh,
possible.
yeah. We have a list of things that'll keep us busy for 3 years just on the cool, but all cool stuff, like fun stuff.
Yeah. Right. Right. which keeps that stickiness, right? I mean, I think it's
Mhm.
sticky enough, but I mean, it's always great when you have some new feature that's coming out that's going to maybe enhance it even more than and make it even cooler than it already is, right?
And I'll tell you, be able to do that instant sharing. Like I said, one of our developers, his wife's a big Taylor Swift fan. I am not, but she goes to she like almost follows her on tour and goes to a lot of the concerts. Can you
Yeah,
imagine creating instant sharing spaces within your Taylor Swift Myseum that would allow you to connect, and 10,000 people at the conference are all sharing, and you have their perspective of it too, and their photos from the parking lot or in their shirt. Yeah, it really is unlimited. To me, I'd love it. It's already from my past. I would love to see my university and my fraternity and what they're doing today, but be able to look back at those times. And that's what we're providing to the people today. They'll be able to take their pictures, create that legacy. I barely have any pictures from back then. I have like three. I wish there were more, but if this existed then, I'd be able to see all the fun stuff and my friends and then follow them through life too, because they're connected to me through their Myseum.
right,
It,
right.
it, it's multi-dimensional social networking. It's almost like quantum social networking in a lot of ways. The way
Right.
it expands, we don't really know where it's going to take us, but it's cool.
Yeah. And I
It's new.
and I'm happy to hear that also you've got AI components in there that are going to make it even more interesting.
So much with AI. We made an acquisition just to organize your photos and tag them using AI. That's going in. But the AI applications are just seeing how you're connected to and creating, your images for the future, or, you with your descendants will be able to put you in family pictures if they want using the AI we're putting
That's so cool.
in. It really is.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, and that's why I think this is going to be interesting, and it's all going to kick off in well, next week you're gonna have your thing going, but then I think it's March 6th, right? Is that the day that's the actual launch
Yeah,
date?
it's Thursday to Saturday, so
Okay,
6 to the 8th.
okay. Um, what else did I want to say? So give us a quick picture of the balance sheet. Any debt?
No debt, about 8 million in cash, burn rate that runs under 200,000 a month.
Okay, good.
Don't have a need for a lot. Servers are easy. Going to hire 2 or 3 more developers to add these features quicker. We like to run our teams lean and mean, we call it a 2 pizza team, where you can feed everyone with 2 pizzas at lunch.
So any what? Go ahead.
Oh, I want to make this clear. This is not outsourced. This is proprietary technology we build in-house. We have our offices in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and this is all built by us, not like we have some team off somewhere building. That doesn't work for technology like this. If I need to build something that someone else had, sure. But this is all people that work for us, know the technology, worked on dat chat. And I would say for the first time to see developers, which are a different breed of people, really excited about a product they're working on, it warms my heart.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I asked before we hopped on, right? It's like because you mentioned the fact that they're younger, right? The
Mm-hmm.
developers are pretty young, and I said, so I asked you, what do they think of the product? And they're excited. They like what they're building, right?
Yeah, they love it. It's like, but dad's like, how come you're not using dat chat? Or, yeah, I don't need privacy. This, they're coming in with ideas of what to do with it. How to use it, things how they want to use it, and make sure that's built into it.
Right, which is cool.
It's very cool. It's good to see people wanting to use what they're building, not just building something.
Right, right. All right, so so you don't have any debt. You've got, I think you said it was just over 4.6 billion. I mean,
I think
that
we're
right,
4.2 million shares outstanding,
okay.
cash in the bank.
And is there any warrants or ratchets or any of that garbage?
No warrants, no ratchets, no toxic deals. We're clean.
All right. So obviously the launch of Myseum is a potential catalyst for the stock, right?
Mhm.
Any other things that you might think could act as a catalyst for
I just think they're seeing our user growth, which helps both DATChat and Myseum. It's using the technology we built. This is an inflection point for DATChat, right? Moving from developing technology to ready to go to a real growth phase. Is anything guaranteed? No, I think we're going to move so fast it's going to be crazy. But that's my opinion.
yeah. I mean, this is the kind of thing that can go viral, right? I mean,
Yes.
somebody starts seeing this and they're digging it, they're sharing it with their friends, they're sharing it, and everybody. I mean, yeah, this could go quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. DATChat was the antiviral because it's 1 to 1, 1 to 10. It's a privacy app. This is build. What would be better for this generation that loves to show off? Build your legacy for the future, but also actually have something that solves problems so that it makes it easier to share today and forever. Everyone wants their own museum.
Yeah.
Although it's funny for me, it's Myseum, my man, the my man, Myseum. It's
That's true. I should have picked up on that.
yeah.
I had so much fun with my buddy that brought this to me. My man.
Yeah.
I love
Well, the museum, we just changed the U to a Y. We own the URL. It's great. It like just fits my whole persona.
Oh, it does, man. I mean, it's perfect. I think this is going to be a fun story to watch. And I want to reemphasize. So think about this from the investment standpoint. You have 4.2 million shares outstanding. That's outstanding, right? So
Yeah.
you probably got about what, 3 point,
37, 36 in the float.
okay, 3.6, 3.7 in the float. You have skin in the game, I'm sure.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Think about this and how quickly this would be a sin. Let me put it this way. If you wind up signing up like a million people in a very short period of time, right? If those million people do not think for a second and say, wait a minute, this is super cool. I mean, as you sign up and you're thinking to yourself, this is badass, the next thought should be, I wonder if I can buy stock in this company. Because if it's that good, if you love it that much, don't just love it and use it, but think about the fact that, well, let's put it this way. Would you have loved to have bought Facebook at the time that they came out with their stuff and just held it till now, right? I mean, how much would that be worth? If this is something that can displace Facebook, and I'm not saying it's going to, but I'd say it probably has a better odds of anything else I've seen out there, right? I mean, anybody remember MySpace?
Sure.
You know,
550 million for it.
Things change, right? I mean, you don't remain I mean, does anybody remember Blockbuster?
I think I still have a video I have to return.
Exactly.
I think I have to rewind.
So if you join this thing and you can tell that your friends love it and your family loves it, this is an opportunity to get in at the ground floor of this company, right? And if this thing does go viral and people continue to love it, I mean, this is a very, very sticky thing. Ancestors, this has got a lot of components that could make this a big hit, but not a flash in the pan. Actually, something meaningful. I mean,
Substance and staying power is what we built. And I'll tell you one thing: our biggest push is to get a lot of press on this, a lot of coverage. It's a fun story to tell the consumer and businesses, to really get the word out and get some real coverage from the press.
And I want everybody to know that we're doing this on a Saturday. And the reason we're doing this on a Saturday is because literally next week you're off really starting the campaign, right? I mean,
Yep.
after that, when you get back, then you're going to focus on really trying to push Myseum. So or Myseum, it's literally, there's like a window here. And what's so exciting about that for me is that technically it's also setting up for, I mean, it's had the pop and now it's pulled, the volume dried up, it's waiting for a catalyst. It's waiting for which way is it going to pop. Remember, I said the coiled spring is coiling, that wedge is forming. My guess is the next news event is probably going to be a positive one, not a negative, right? So if that's the case, which way does it break? Probably to the upside. Now, I don't tell anybody what to do. I don't tell anybody to buy. That's not what I do. What I say is there's a very compelling story here. There's literally no debt. Been working on this thing for 2.5 years. It is unique to like nothing else. There's nothing else out there like it. And they're getting ready to launch. And that launch could be in more ways than one, right? It launches the company or the Myseum, but it also launches the stock, right? So I can say this, I can feel comfortable about saying this. If I were watching this video, I would buy at least one share, right? I mean, you buy one share. That way, you keep it on your radar, you'll pay attention to what the company is doing, and that one share could actually, what'll probably happen is you'll look at that one share and it'll be higher, and you'll be like, I wish I would have bought more than one. But I'm saying, I think I can comfortably tell people to buy one share and feel good about it. I'm not telling anybody to go all in or that, but this here is sitting at a perfect technical setup. And let me see, is that how long ago did you go public?
We went public in August of 21.
Okay, 21, which was a difficult time to go public because of COVID and all that stuff, right? So, yeah, I think I just want to see, wow, this spike that you had right here. No. Didn't you say it got up to like 18?
Yeah, it got up to 18 and a half in the fall of 21.
I wonder why I'm not seeing that. Huh. Oh, I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Maybe because I'm going, oh, I know why. Probably got to go to the 5-day. Well, it doesn't matter. Bottom line is, this is a very interesting spot. It's at a level of support, technically. It's got a potential catalyst coming up. When do you think we should do a follow-up with you?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Let's get back from Salt Lake. Yeah, we're going out there to tell our story to some of the biggest families that are involved in genealogy and people, and we'll keep you updated also on all the cool features as we keep adding it. But just so you know, I'm adding a lot, but that's me of all the bells and whistles I want. This product's ready to go, right? We've got a beautiful galaxy, we have beautiful albums. Yeah, we'll be tweaking things here and there. There's always little bugs you find, but structurally, it's very sound. We have great developers, all in-house, and we're ready to grow this thing as fast as we can. You know, this is my life's work, and I believe in this more than anything I've ever done because it encompasses so much of what I've done. All the patents, all the technology, rolling it into something that it's not often you get to solve a problem and have something that's fun and cool to use too.
Right. I mean, this is like a really proud moment for you. This is like,
It is.
This is like another kid for you, right?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. When I look at this stock and, bankers call me all the time, I don't want to dilute my holdings. I see myself doing, this is my future, my legacy to my family.
Right. But literally making a lot. making it, let's see, how do you say this? Creating legacies that's a huge thing. Creating, if you
Mhm.
think about what you're doing and how long it could last for generations and generations and generations, right?
Yep,
For some reason, I thought about the time capsule. You remember
it
when,
is in a lot of ways.
right? It's like a time capsule in a way. And I think it's really cool. I mean,
It's kind of funny, when we're developing it, on the graphic side, it has your name on your Myseum. It will say Tim's Myseum or that, the My Man Myseum. And it really is allowing everyone to have it's hard to have a giant building somewhere, but everyone could have this social museum that lasts forever, that tells you story and will be useful to your friends, family, and generations to come.
can you make your profile as descriptive as you want? I mean, is you
Yeah.
can you go into like some real detail if you wanted to, right?
Right.
Thinking that far out, like, hey, this is going to be if somebody comes in, this is going to be who I am. This is all going to and I'm going to give people a background on me and all that stuff. You can do that, right?
It's up to you, and you can do it in bits and pieces too. Like you could add, yeah, this is my first house I lived in. Here I am as a baby, or just have, a picture of you in like a blurb. You decide. I think people will want to really tell their story in their profile because
Right,
that's what people find. But it's up to you.
right. I get it. I get
It's
it.
all up to you. You don't
Right,
even have to put pictures in your museum to have one. You can have one and just to be connected in. It's up to you. There's no rules to your legacy. It's for you to build.
right. It's so cool. All right.
Mhm.
So 2 weeks, we're gonna come back and we're gonna revisit. We'll see how the launch went and see how you're feeling. And but I think you're gonna be feeling pretty good. We'll see.
Mhm.
But I also recommend if you are not following the company, I would go to datchat.com/investors. I would sign up for their email alerts so that you can stay on top of what's happening over there at that, both news for the company and any press releases they have about Myseum, right? I mean, new features that are
Yep.
coming. So,
Yeah. You'll see
um,
the Dad Chat website change next week also.
right, and you also both of those. So it's iOS and it will be iOS and
Android,
Android, right?
and eventually a desktop version sometime in the next 12 months.
Okay, and a desktop version eventually. That's cool.
Yes.
Okay,
That's actually easy to do. The mobile's the harder. It's
right.
just dedicating the time to it, but it won't be that big of a lift.
But grandma and grandpa are typically going to be, they're not going to be looking at the stuff on the phone, right? They're going to be looking at it on the biggest screen they can find.
Me too, sir.
I know. All right, Darin, I really appreciate you taking the time, man, and I wish you the best of luck on your launch, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Great. Thank you, Tim. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right, hold on a second. I'm gonna shut. Thank you for tuning in to another CEO interview here at Alpha Wolf Capital. Today we had Darin, my man, CEO of DATChat. Uh, Ticker symbol DATS. I hope you enjoyed today's interview, and if you did, do us a favor, give us a like. How about giving us a share? And while you're at it, make sure you smash that subscribe button because all of those things are extremely important to us here at Alpha Wolf Capital. Until next time, stay safe. Alpha Wolf Capital wishes you the very best of success.